All right.
Shall we?
We shall. Cheers.
To another podcast.
Got him. Back at it with the Decoff Cafe and good conversations.
There we go. Decoff Cafe.
Did I say that? Decoff Cafe.
Decoff Cafe.
All right.
We're going to change the name. You drinking that Decoff Cafe? Alright, it's been a pretty serious day, so let's get to start this off with a laugh.
Yeah.
But
we were about to start. Go ahead.
Before you say anything.
Okay.
I want to ask one question to get this started.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know what it is that sets your soul on fire?
I don't. I know of a few things that really grab my interest and that I kind of lose myself in the moment, like a flow state. But
flow state.
Yeah. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it, but give me a definition.
So flow state is when you're in this state of mind of complete enjoyment and fulfillment, I guess, where you are completely immersed in whatever you're doing, and you
you lose track of time.
You lose track of time, and you're just completely.
Let's look this up real quick.
Okay.
Take a brief moment.
So when I looked up the definition, I just Googled flow state, and it should say on the Wikipedia page, it'll say it right there on Google.
State definition. Okay. In positive psychology, a flow state, also known colloquially as being in the zone, is the mental state in which a person performing an activity is fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process of the activity.
Yeah.
Damn. So, there's something to be said about when you are in a flow state.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because that is your trigger.
Yeah. I think that, I guess the idea would be to try and hit the flow state every day, right?
Yes.
To be doing something where every day you are fully immersed in whatever activity you're doing. It doesn't have to be all day, every day, but for a period of time every day, I think that would be ideal, right? So
I think that would be the peak of a human's existence. If every day they engage in an activity that put them in the flow state.
Yeah.
If it actually, let me correct that, maybe the peak of human existence is if your job, if the work that you do for a living is something that puts you in a flow state. Something that you enjoy that much that you lose track of time and you get paid to do that.
Yeah.
That is the peak of human existence.
Right. That is one way to look at it. I think it's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
There's the moments for me where I hit flow state is sometimes when I'm doing a podcast and I'm listening and then talking and then listening and then talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even realize there's sometimes where the conversation is and I'm kind of distracted or I'm how long has it been? But there's times where I don't even realize, and I'll be talking and I'll 30 minutes have gone by and I'll be listening and talking and listening and talking, and then I'm kind of snap out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm whoa.
Yes.
As soon as I finish, it's happened a couple times recently where as soon as I finish saying something and then I'm whoa.
Right.
That was,
Yeah.
And
it's a transcending experience.
Yeah. And another time would be sometimes when I'm writing lyrics, I get I'm just in the zone.
Right.
And I just have my headphones in and I'm just working on it and working on it and working on it, and I don't even realize how much time has gone by. But something that I struggle with is finding something like that where I'm immersing myself in this flow state, but it's something that is gonna make me money at the same time, like you said, And I think that's like a long process to get to that point of like constantly working and working and working and not burning yourself out.
Yeah, I mean, what if there was something that you could do every single day that you just never got burnt out? Because you loved it that much.
I would do this.
Yeah, right. You would just talk.
Yeah.
Like,
I would talk and
yeah.
I would rap, you know, for fun. And
I can relate to both those things.
yeah.
Also, I would like to write as well. I love writing. Writing is like definitely something that gives my soul some fire for sure.
Dude, Kayla was like working on a novel.
Oh wow.
And she sent it to me. It's like a couple chapters.
Yeah.
4 chapters, and I read it. And I was like, holy shit.
It's really good. Huh?
It's really good.
Wow,
I was
that's
like,
great, man.
I was like reading it, and I was
That
like,
is
I got to the end, and I was like, I want more.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Good for
it's
her.
really cool. I know.
Yeah, that's
it's really
great.
cool.
That's awesome. It's cool when like you see. We were just talking about this today of when you see people that you know like doing what they love and being successful at it. You know.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing to watch, like to watch people's flower bloom, if you will. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like the reason that conversation came up is because I showed you a couple videos on Brandon Turner's Instagram page.
Right. Yeah.
For those of you listening, if you want to go check him out on Instagram, it's bturn, BTURNNN.
Yep.
But we went to high school together. We all went to high school together,
Yeah.
and he's just so in alignment with what he wants, and you know he's got a daughter, and he just pursues his passion.
Yeah.
And like watching I was just like scrolling through his Instagram last night at like midnight.
Right.
Because I was just like, fuck, man, this gets me fired up.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
and
it's funny because like he's been known as B-Turn since high school. I mean,
Yeah.
He's been rapping since those days.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
was known as B-Turn in high school. I remember that shit.
yeah, and it's amazing to see somebody so passionate and immersed in their craft to where nothing stands in the way of them doing what they want to do.
Right. And it actually panning out for them. You know?
Right,
It
exactly.
actually working out, like when opportunity makes preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nipsey Hussle says, you know.
Yeah.
That's to see that point, that kind of crossroad where those two things meet, and these people take advantage of that, especially when it's someone you know, is just, it's inspiring, man.
It
It's
is.
inspiring to say the least. You know, it's cool to see. But just knowing people from your hometown that have like grown up and you could see making it or doing very well for themselves. It's like it's a proud feeling. You know, it's a proud feeling, and I think just knowing that you watch those people's growth over the years,
Mm-hmm.
and you know they've been through a lot. You know, like I remember in high school when B-Turn would get made fun of because his name was B-Turn. You know, and like, now it's turning into something for him. You know, and that's great, man. I mean, it's probably one of the coolest feelings in the world, just knowing that like there's someone out there doing these things that you were so close to for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran into him, I don't know, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago maybe. I was at DC Rocks with Patrick Henry.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who I was with. I can't remember exactly who I was with.
Yeah.
He was up there just by himself, chilling, writing music, just like watching the sunset.
That's great.
And I was like, "What's up, bro?" You know, we caught up, and he was like, "Dude, I have one of my CDs. You want it?" I was like, "Yes, give me that." You know, and we talked about, because I was just recently sober, and he, you know, was talking about he was, you know, kind of back and forth on like dabbling in, you know, some illicit activities, but not like anything crazy, you know, but just something that he was trying to, you know, get his way out of. And it's really amazing to see what like persistence and positive mindset can do to drag somebody out of that situation.
Absolutely, man. And putting, you know, he talks a lot about manifestation as well, you know, so putting subconscious action or conscious action to focus on your subconscious, you know, that's a big one. And we just talked about this earlier as well, like people doing conscious things to fix subconscious problems is something that I learned from Jeremy recently. And I don't want to give away the secret sauce, obviously, or like anything, but like it's a great way of looking at things, you know. And the way he put it was like, if you're afraid of heights, don't go jump out of an airplane, because it's a subconscious thing to be afraid of heights, and you're trying to fix it with a conscious action.
Yeah.
Which could just perpetuate the fear or make it worse, you know.
Yeah.
So, in any case, like, I guess focusing on creating a clear or well-adjusted subconscious is the way to go.
Yeah. That's hard, man. That's the hard part. Like, if there was ever anything that someone should do to better their lives, it's rewiring your subconscious.
Yes.
And yet nobody does it.
Nobody does it.
Because it's hard, man.
Well, it's hard. And maybe people just aren't aware, you know? Imagine the amount of people you meet on a daily basis that don't have any idea that their trauma is controlling their decisions, you know?
That's true.
Or let's not even start there. Let's just say that, like, have any idea that their subconscious is controlling their decisions.
Yeah.
They think they're consciously making the right decisions every day, but you're making those decisions out of what is in your subconscious, you know?
Yeah. It's a fickle thing, the subconscious.
It's, to say the least, yeah.
To say the least,
thing,
man.
Yeah. But to think that it drives 95% of your behaviors, you know, it's like, fuck.
Dude, I had this experience. This was like, it was a couple weeks ago, and I had never believed in chakras at all. I thought it was just
mythology.
Yeah. But at the same time, I believed in, like, energy in the universe, and you know, so I don't know why it took me so long to connect the two.
Right.
But I learned about a little bit of this, and I learned, like, a specific frequency to listen to while trying to work on a specific chakra. Okay. And this is the root chakra.
Okay, so what is it about sound that helps you do that?
You know, so from what I understand, I have real basic knowledge of it, but the energy from your root chakra vibrates at a specific frequency, and there are other things that also vibrate at these frequencies. So like this bracelet is black tourmaline, and it vibrates at the same frequency as the root chakra. And so I learned about this stuff, and that same day I went out and I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy some previously thought of as woo-woo shit, and I'm gonna go buy some of it, and I'm gonna, like, do a little bit of digging on this, right? So I turned on this frequency, I started meditating to it, and because previously I would just, like, put on some random shit and meditate, you know. And the root chakra is in relation to feelings of safety and security, and that's something that I struggle with a lot. And I had this nightmare when I was a kid of me running down my street, the street that I grew up on in El Cajon, and I'd be running and I wasn't getting anywhere. It was like I was, like, almost, like, floating, but, like, I just couldn't move. Like, I'd be trying as hard as I can, I was not getting anywhere.
Like on a treadmill, essentially, or was it?
No, like I was in the street, but I'd be booking it, and it's like I was running in slow motion. Like I couldn't get myself to get away, and there were people chasing me in the nightmare, and they were gaining on me, and I couldn't get away. And there was something about Oreos in the nightmare too. I don't remember what specifically that was about, but and then another part, it, like, jumps to this other part of the nightmare where I'm under my bed. I had bunk beds when I was a kid, and I was hiding under the bed, and I hear these footsteps, thumping footsteps, and I see these black boots come up to the edge of the bed, and a sledgehammer.
Oh, Jesus.
And then a hand reaches down and, like, flips up the bed, and then I wake up.
Oh, Jesus, man.
And I had that nightmare for years as a kid, and I had completely forgotten about it for probably well over a decade. And the first time that I put on this frequency and meditated to it, that instantly popped up.
Wow.
And I was
so this is to clear the root chakra.
it's
that frequency is to activate the root chakra.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still like learning about the specifics of it.
you.
But essentially, yes.
And the root
from what
chakra
I
is secured
understand.
around safety and what else?
Security.
Security. So those are two nightmares directly correlated with your inability to keep yourself safe and secure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
incredible, man.
I know,
Oh
dude.
my
And I was
God.
like, what is
Oh my
going
God.
on?
Yeah. So I want you to continue on that path, but I'm going to tell you my dream as a kid.
Okay.
And then I'm going to keep asking you questions about that. But mine, I guess just thinking about it right now, I just thought about this because you were talking about yours. My recurring dream, this has to do with the powerless.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what chakra that is, but it's the...
I can't recall off the top of my head.
I can look it up. I think I wrote it down. The powerless, whatever chakra deals with powerless. I would have a recurring dream that I would be like fighting someone, like physically fighting someone and like punching them as hard as I could, and it wouldn't hurt them at all.
Mm-hmm.
You just like are trying as hard as you can and it does nothing, you know? And I would just remember myself like fighting like bullies in my dreams and just like doing everything I could to damage them and nothing would happen to them. And it was like the most terrifying thing because I would just be swinging ruthlessly on these people and like and they would feel nothing. And that was my recurring nightmare as a kid, I guess. Yeah, like similar to yours. But anyway, back to yours now. So, what age did these nightmares start, would you say, that you remember?
If I had to guess, somewhere between the ages of like 4 and 6.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
Okay, so somewhere between the ages of 4 and 6. I know you've kind of repressed a lot of your past, as you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But around that time, like, what was the situation? Where were you living? Was it a comfortable place? Was your parents' marriage good from what you remember? Was there like a lot of fighting involved, or what signs were there from your youth that you would think would point you in the direction of having this recurring nightmare?
So I lived in El Cajon, and I don't know if my little brother was born yet when this happened. It was right around that time. My little brother was born when I was 6.
Okay.
And we had a real small house. From what I recall, my parents had a good marriage at the time. They divorced when I was like 11 or 12, but I remember being in kindergarten and learning about like Blackbeard the pirate, and my dad being in construction and carpentry, like built a big pirate ship out of like wood and cardboard so that the kids could all play in it, and like brought it to school. And
that's a really good dad thing to do.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
That's a really awesome dad thing to do.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, I don't know any, like, I can't recall any specific events that made me feel
like
unsafe.
Yeah, or not secure.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's a big part of like something I'm trying to work on, is like trying to like recall these memories from when I was a kid, because I think I just shut them out for so long that it's gonna take a lot of work to like figure out because there's my mom's got all these videos of us as kids, like VHS tapes, recordings of us as kids, and I can see myself on the TV and have no recollection of doing these activities.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
I think that it might be the way for a lot of people. You know?
So I don't know where that nightmare stems from, but it's stemming from somewhere.
Yeah.
I still, like, to this day, like, very much struggle with feelings of safety and security.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's obviously trauma from your childhood that's driving those feelings.
Yeah. It's gotta be.
It has to.
What else would it be?
Yeah. Yeah. So you've now got this monumental task to go back and both fortunately and unfortunately relive those events, I think Jordan Peterson said it best when he said, there's a difference between facing adversity unwillingly and facing it willingly,
Yeah.
in that your preparation and knowing how the outcome had already turned out previously and that you're still alive today and okay now.
Yeah.
And going back and facing that and trying to change the way you feel about it is a key to getting rid of it.
dude, I'm like sitting here thinking about all these different things and like how I formed these opinions.
Right.
Like how, like I tend to, with females specifically, I tend to, like, I'll just believe everything that they say. Like, not like that might be like an exaggeration, but like,
no, but for the most part, like, yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And I'll like, anytime like I see like a girl or woman upset or whatever, I'm like, they must have not done anything wrong.
Right.
What happened to them?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, who knows? I don't know.
That's interesting.
You know?
That's
but
interesting.
I don't know why I just thought of that, but that's like, but where did I form that?
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
That came from somewhere, man.
Came from somewhere.
It's somewhere in your subconscious.
And
that you were not even aware of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're aware that now it's impacting you. You know that, but you don't know the root of that event. You know.
Yeah, like I remember being a kid, and we had this. It was like a 2-bedroom house, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with 5 people. Okay. Yeah. And the garage, my dad converted into a 3rd room because we needed it. And because it was a garage previously, there was a door from the garage to the outside, like the side yard. Okay. So there's like, you walk into the room, and then to the right.
To which room?
The garage bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So you walk in there, and then to the right there's a door. You open the door and it goes to the side yard and it wraps around to the back of the house. We have this big like wooden deck and all this, you know. And I remember being out there on the side yard, and I don't know if we were sent outside, my brothers and I, or if we had just happened to be out there and my parents started arguing. And I can vividly remember my mom yelling to my dad, "Don't talk to me that way, you asshole."
Wow.
And like, I don't know the situation that happened or what, but like maybe that's part of it.
How old were you?
Maybe like 8, 9, somewhere.
Dude.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, obviously, if that happened once, there were other times that it probably happened that you just don't remember. You know, because you've
probably just like the most significant one.
Yeah, like there's probably a multitude of them.
Yeah.
Maybe some of which you'll never remember, and some of which you can come up with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to think that like you recognize those things, you know, you're aware, you recognize it, and most people aren't. You know, most people have no idea.
Yeah.
So it's the first step. You're already there.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like what I was like talking to you earlier about in the car is like I feel like, and I constantly feel like this, and I think that it's not that I'm in the same position, but I'm in this like loop of behavior and thoughts and patterns, and I'll make like a decently monumental shift, and like I'll change something to make my life better or to like take a step up the ladder, and then I'm in another loop, and I seem to just be always on the fringes of this loop without ever fully breaking out of it.
Right.
But maybe that's the process, is like there's an infinite number of loops, and every time I get out of one, I'm in another one, and I have to figure out how to get out of that one, and then I'm in a new one, and I got to figure out how to get out of that one. And I didn't think of that until right now, but maybe it's not just one loop. Maybe there's an infinite number of loops, and you just have to constantly be working to get to the next one, or to break out of the one that you're currently in.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. And I think that what you made me think of when you said that is maybe the loop is just ever expanding, in that the decisions get more monumental and the loop just gets bigger with time.
Yeah.
It takes you longer to come around the loop because you start making better decisions that delay the time between your behavior patterns.
Damn. That's a good one.
Potentially. I don't know. Obviously, we're just thinking out loud here.
Yeah. I mean, who really... I don't even think there's an answer to that question.
I don't think that anybody knows that.
No.
You could probably find the best psychologists in the world, and they couldn't tell you why that happens. I'm sure there's explanations for patterns in humans' behavior. I mean, I'm sure that's...
100%.
Yeah, there's an explanation out there for that, but like, what are the driving forces behind that constant feeling? no matter how far you've progressed, the changes you've made, you continually feel like you revert back to the same kind of primal behaviors that you did previously in
Yeah.
other situations, you know?
Hmm.
So I want to take it back a little ways to your childhood, you know? So you mentioned, like, kind of describe to me, like, so you think about your house, you think about all that when you were a kid. Like, when you walked in the door, what do you remember of, like, walking in the door from your home, say, after school? Like, did you smell certain things? Did you see certain things? Like, what did your house look like? How was it laid out? Like,
I can remember the layout for the most part. Not so much my parents' room, but I can remember the rest of the layout of the house.
okay.
So like you walk in the door, we had like 2 little concrete step porch,
Okay.
real small in
Yep.
front.
Yep.
Like enough for
Was
like.
it a standalone house?
What do you mean?
Like, was it just a house, or was it like a townhome or an
No, it was a
apartment?
house.
Oh,
It was a
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Like a standalone house.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So you park in the driveway, you get out of the car, and there's a little walkway in front of the house, and there's 2 steps up on this little tiny concrete porch. You
Right.
open the door,
Right.
screen door, and then regular door, and you go in, and expanding out to the left is the living room, and there's a couch up against the wall at the front of the house.
Okay.
Directly across from that is like an entertainment system with like a TV.
Okay.
And if you walk in the door, and there's like maybe like 5 feet of wall, 6 feet of wall, and then you go into a hallway.
Mhm.
When you walk into the hallway, on the right end of the room is my parents' room,
Mhm.
or the right end of the hallway is my parents' room. To the
Mhm.
left end is the bathroom,
Mhm.
and if this is the bathroom door, the door right here is my bedroom,
Okay.
and mine and my brother's bedrooms.
So you and your older brother, shared a bedroom,
Yeah, and my little brother.
and your little brother.
Yeah.
Until you were how old?
I don't know exactly when
Okay.
when my dad converted the garage into a
Okay.
bedroom. Maybe it was before my little brother was born, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we were all in the same room for a period
Gotcha.
of time.
And you explaining this to me right now, can you picture in your mind, like, can you visualize all of this, or what sense are you relying on to recall all of these things?
Sight.
Okay. So you don't remember much of the sounds, or the smells, or the emotions behind it. Like, how do you remember how you felt coming home, like, say, from a normal day at school when you walked in the door? Do you remember what that felt like?
No.
No. Yeah.
I remember, like, I've always loved dogs. We had this dog named
Right.
Charlie. He was the coolest fucking dog ever. Big
Right.
yellow lab, you know, and
Right.
like playing with him in the backyard, and I remember. So if you let me continue the walk through the house, and I'll
Yeah.
get to like more detailed
Okay.
memories. What detail I do have on them.
Sure.
So when you walk in the living room, the couch is up against the wall on the left, the entertainment system across, and then it kind of opens up. Like you walk in, and there's the big room here, right? And then it goes back straight into the kitchen.
Okay.
Now, the kitchen, there's like the kitchen table, and then the kitchen opened up to the right, and then there's like a door to get into the backyard.
Uh-huh.
To the left of the kitchen was where the garage was, but there was also like an extra room where we kept like a bunch of toys and like a little play area, right? We had the like a home computer.
Right.
And my older brother and I would stay up as kids for hours
Yeah.
and hours and hours
Yeah.
playing computer games. Like,
What kind of games?
dude, we played Heroes of Might and Magic,
Okay.
and there was another one called Might and Magic something.
Yeah.
But it was like there were 2 specifically, right? One was like we each had a castle.
Right.
It would like alternate turns,
Okay.
and we would have to like build our castles and our armies, and then like defeat the
That's cool.
adversaries,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And then the
yeah.
other one was more like, I guess it was like almost like a first person role playing game.
Yeah.
But there were like 4 characters, right,
Okay.
that you could pick from, and we would each be playing, like he would be using like the arrows,
Okay.
up, down, left, right,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there was like another 4
the
set of
W's.
letters, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And we'd be like moving,
Yeah.
and like you could like get different armor for your people, and some of them were like wizards, like you know. But it was so much
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah.
And we would stay up till like 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes playing,
Yeah.
like trying to be real quiet, not to
Yeah.
wake up mom, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And,
yeah. Dude, so I mean, from what you're telling me right now, it sounds like you have a lot of joyous memories, man. I mean, those sound like really good, fun events. You playing with your dog in the backyard. Like,
Yeah, but there's also like, I think like from a young age, I was an extreme instigator.
Okay.
And
How so?
like I would you know how like they say like the older brother is like the mean brother?
Yeah.
I was the mean brother.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
I would like I remember
Like
this
bullying and
like not I mean
Yeah.
it was bullying, but like not to the point where I was like, and not to anyone else.
right, just your brothers.
Yeah, like I got bullied
Right.
in school.
Right.
Um
Did your brothers get bullied in school?
I don't know about my little brother. I'm sure my older brother did.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't. I mean, I'm probably.
Yeah.
You know, I think everyone goes through like a some.
For sure.
You
Absolutely.
know, but
Absolutely.
my brother was like my older brother was like the. You know, he wore glasses and he was like nerdy, and I was nerdy too, but in a less obvious way.
Right.
You know, and I pretended not to be.
Yeah. You developed like a coping mechanism among your peers.
Yeah. And so, but with my brothers, I remember one time like my older brother and I got in this argument and we were like yelling at each other, and I was so mean.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, and I vividly remember this, I said to him, "Jacob, you're a freak and you know it." And then I ran.
Damn.
And I ran in the bedroom and closed the door, and he ran and like shouldered the door trying to break it down. And we were kids. I was, you know, maybe like 8 years old. He was probably 10.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that age range,
Right.
you know, but
Right.
like just mean.
Yeah.
I was mean. I was a mean kid.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
Like my mom will tell you that I was like the sweetest kid, and I think like for the most part I was, you know, but I had these tendencies.
Just be very aggressive
but not like I wouldn't fight.
Yeah.
I would like verbally I would just
say mean things.
hurt
people.
and degrade people.
Right.
But like specifically my older brother.
Right.
And I don't know why.
Huh. That's interesting. Do you think maybe you outside of home were getting bullied a lot, so that made you feel weak, but at home you knew you were the more dominant one?
No, because I didn't really start getting bullied until after all of this had occurred.
Okay. So this was like pre you being bullied. You would bully your older brother.
Yeah, I mean, well, let me backtrack. I got bullied a little bit.
Okay. Was it mutual bullying between you two? Did he bully you as well, or was it more?
He bullied in response to me bullying him.
Okay. So you were the protagonist.
100%.
Yeah. Antagonist.
Antagonist?
Is it antagonist or protagonist?
I think it's antagonist.
Antagonist.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got that mixed up.
I don't know. I still might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's antagonist.
I think so. Yeah.
But I mean, because of that ruined my relationship with my older brother for years.
Right.
Years.
Huh.
We didn't even start to become like friends until like 4 years ago.
Wow. And has your relationship repaired since that point? Like, are you making strides?
I'd say we're like solidly like friends now. You know?
That's good. Yeah.
Like Kayla and I went to visit him and my sister-in-law in Washington in October, and like we stayed with them, like went out and did stuff, and it was fun, you know.
And it went well.
And we chat from time to time. Yeah. You know, a lot of fun,
good.
and we chat. His birthday was a few days ago. I gotta call him. I texted him on his birthday, but I worked all weekend, and
right.
Not that that's not an excuse. Not that that's an excuse to like not call my brother, but it's been a busy few days.
Yeah.
But
so do you think that maybe some part of you today like holds regret for those things?
Yeah. I mean, I think my biggest regret was just not my biggest life regret, but in regards to that, I think that because nobody knew I was getting bullied.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody.
Right.
I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my
It's
brothers. I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You know. And my mom didn't know I was getting bullied until one of like my really good friends, his mom, because he told his mom, you know,
Right.
like, I'm getting bullied, you know, and then she told my mom, oh yeah, you know, so and so said that, you know, he and Nicholas are getting bullied a lot. My mom had no idea. And I think maybe if I had been more vocal about things that bothered me,
Yeah.
instead of just lashing out in reaction to those things,
Right.
I would have better coped with the situations.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. So, do you think that your lashing out behavior might have been a result of nature and or nurture? Something that you either witnessed or something that is part of your innate behavior?
I mean, it's got to be, right?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know which one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the
This is where the inner work comes in.
right. This is the hard
Yeah,
stuff.
this is the hard stuff. Yeah. But talking to Jeremy Griffin, I mentioned this to you earlier, but just talking to him and understanding that your subconscious is 95% of it.
Yeah.
That was a huge eye opener for me. That like, shit, man. When he said, what was it that said? He said like, you'll never hit a target if you can't see straight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, fuck, man, if you have goals in life and you have, things that you want to achieve and you put them in front of you and then you realize all those are imagined and all those are things you don't actually want to do. You just want to do them because of your conditioning and your implicit associations or like your, what's ingrained in your subconscious and has been since you were a child. That's what's driving those decisions. And then once you, I don't want to say correct that, but work on the subconscious to reveal your true self, then those goals might not fall away, but they could become more refined or clearer, and you'll have a better path of how to get there.
So, well, that brings up another thing that I had mentioned earlier about like taking a promotion at work,
Mm-hmm.
and then after realizing that
Yes,
it's
yes.
not anything that I
Yes.
want.
So touch on that, because dude, you were talking about how Kayla brought this up to you, and like, I mean, number one, like, dude, shout fucking out to Kayla, man. Some of the stuff that you've told me about her, like, she's an incredible woman, and you're blessed to have someone like that in your life.
Yeah,
Truly.
man. I think that, I mean, obviously, like, we had gone through, like, I broke
Sure,
up with her
sure.
and,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this, but I'm 100% confident in the fact that, like, that the relationship that I'm in now is, like, the one that I should be in,
Mm-hmm. It feels right.
It feels right. And, like, the best part is that she'll call me out on my shit,
Mm-hmm.
and is like,
It's so helpful.
like, why? Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
What purpose does it serve
Yeah.
to get you where you want to go?
Right.
Does it serve a purpose? No.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, she says shit like that
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
okay,
great.
you're
That's
right.
great. Someone to keep you the course.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Okay, so but going back on this, so I was talking to her, I think this was last week, maybe the week before, but she had mentioned that, like, she's okay working the job that she's in right now, and
Mm-hmm.
like, she's been at this job for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and
Yeah.
like, they're asking her like, oh, would you consider a management position, blah blah blah. She just has that aura about
Yeah,
her of
yeah.
like bringing great attitude and like
Mhm.
getting people to do what they're supposed to do, you
Good
know?
leadership aura.
And she turned it out and she was like, nope, I have no interest in it.
Right.
And I was talking to her about it, and she was like, I don't care what other people think about the job that I'm working at. She's
Yeah.
like, I don't care if I have the same position as a 19-year-old that's in college.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
And she had previously taken a management position a few years ago at a restaurant. She was like working there, and then she got promoted, and then like got promoted again to like open a new restaurant in a new city as a manager, and she had this realization while on mushrooms one night. It was like the first time she'd ever done it, and the next day stepped down from her position because she was like, this is what I want to do, you know. And she told me that story a long time ago,
Right.
but this like a week ago when we were talking, she was like, I realized that like I only took that position in management because I wanted the title and I wanted people to respect that I was a manager,
Right.
not because I actually wanted to do it.
Right.
And it got me thinking, like, did I do that? And I kept thinking about it. I've been thinking about it, and like 100% yes, I did that because I wanted, like, I'm the manager. I have this position of authority. And while I do believe that I have leadership qualities, I didn't take that position for the right reasons.
No.
And it's not something that I had told myself that I had this plan of, like, in 5 years, I want to be, running my own restaurant, being general manager. Like, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that.
Right.
Like, why I gave myself that goal and these guidelines to reach that goal,
right.
this upward trajectory in
right.
this industry,
right.
purely for the fact that I was scared to get into any other industry.
Right. Right.
And because I'd always worked in restaurants,
right.
and I was good at it.
Right.
And another thing that set me into this new thought process of, like, what do I really want, is listening to that podcast that I sent you from Joe Rogan and
Robin Hoff Capo.
Yeah. And he said, we're not just meant to do the things that we're good at. Like, you can be a great leader,
right.
and be a tyrant,
right.
or dictator, like Hitler. Hitler was a great leader.
Yeah.
We don't need people like that.
Right.
You don't just do what you're good at. And I was like, fuck. Like, I'm good at what I do. I am a good manager.
Right.
And I'm good at, motivating people and getting them to, like, talking to them in a way that's not degrading or abrasive, and getting them to understand, like, the way that things should be done.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I have to do that thing. That doesn't mean that I have to be in that position, or that I should be in that position.
Right. So, with that being said, what do you think that you're setting your sights on now? If it's not the management route at a restaurant, what are you going to use that ability, your ability to motivate and drive people, and your ability to effectively connect with people?
Well,
is that what you're still trying to figure out currently, or?
Yeah, well, so I think as far as, like, my profession that's going to make me money,
right,
until I find that which sets my soul on fire that I can do, this, obviously, like, I love this, and I'm going to continue to do this, but as far as, like, learning practical skills for the long term of what I want, like, because the long term I want to do real estate and investments in that realm.
Right.
And so,
is that something that you think will set your soul on fire?
I'm constantly intrigued, but dude, I've run through the Bigger Pockets podcast and real estate investment. Like, I could listen to them all day, and just absorb this information. I've thought about, like, going back and taking notes on them, because I'll listen to them and I'll be like, I want to listen to that same exact podcast again, because there's so much in there. And that tells me something right there. Like, I don't, like, hear something like a new program or a new beer that we're going to bring into the restaurant, or a new food item, and I'm like, whoa, that's really cool, I want to learn all about that. Doesn't happen. But with real estate, it really grabs my attention. And so I think the first step is to get into property management, and, like, learn that aspect of it, like, base level, how to manage tenants and how to manage payments and invoices and repairs and maintenance and all that. And I think that's, like, a solid base level to do. And beyond that, I think, like, once I get that solidly, that foundation firm and that knowledge, really ingrained in my system to where I know what I'm doing, then, like, boom, I can buy my first property and, like, start to grow from there.
Lay the groundwork,
right? So that, but the other one, there's another route that grabs my attention, and that's still in, like, the hospitality realm, but, like, working in hotels. I just like making people happy, and, like, when people are traveling, sometimes it's, like, real stressful, and, like, there's something about, like, being able to like do something real small that's going to turn their whole week around. You know, I've just been thinking about that. That's like another route. Option number one is property management.
Yeah.
Like that's boom, you know, but if I had to do something else, that would be it.
Okay. So do you think, so what are the reasons, what are the driving factors behind property management for you in like real estate investing? Is it solely fiscal based because you know the amount of potential money you can make, or is there a serious passion and drive behind being a real estate mogul?
So I went to this like a seminar.
Right.
I've been to two of the same one. They're put on by Legacy Education. It's like the company based on Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Right. Yeah, it's actually saw it on your counter earlier. It's fine. But the first one that I went to, and I almost signed up. You were gonna go with me to it.
Right. I had to work.
Yeah. But I went to it, and this girl was talking to the girl doing the presentation or whatever in the slideshow and all the information. She was talking about how, you know, she's not a millionaire, she's not, you know, but in the next year or two she would be.
Right.
And she's doing she's making these moves, and the cool part is like you can have properties that you use as recovery havens, I guess you could say, for people that are like have addictions or mental illness or whatever, and you can get paid a lot of money to set places like that up,
right?
And at the same time you're helping people get their lives together.
Yeah,
that's a win-win. So like, and I struggle with the fact that like, am I only doing it for the money? But like, if a byproduct of me wanting to do it for the money is getting people's lives on track, and I'm trying to like flip-flop that to where like by helping these people, a byproduct of that is I'm gonna make a lot of money,
right?
You know, so I'm trying to like mentally flip those, you know, but I think that, you know, because I've been in that situation of like going to rehab twice and like being in a house where you don't know anybody, and it's like it's scary, you know, and you don't know.
Just not to interrupt you. Let's say for a quick moment that, let's say you could rent that house for the same amount to one person that you could to a group of 10 recovering addicts. What would you do?
I think if it was like my first house, or like my first real dig into it, my first real estate,
It's a tough question.
I think I would probably rent to the one person. You know, but the thing is, like, there's constant room for improvement. So I would rather learn and fuck up with like one person, or like a family, like a well-adjusted family, than like bring in a bunch of addicts and like have it get shut down, and I'm not able to provide for them, and then they're where they go, you know. So I want to make sure that I'm like, I know what I'm doing before I make that decision.
It's a different aspect to rent to
and I'm sure it's a huge hassle getting all the paperwork and all that, you know. But
if there's drugs done in the house or something like that, it's
you know, but that was like when this girl was saying this, you know, and she was our age probably. I think she said she was in her late 20s, and this was like last year that I went to it. So, but she was talking about it, and this is something that she was doing, and I was like, that's awesome. You know, just because of my history, like that's something really cool that I can do. And I'm not saying that like that's all I'm gonna do. But if I could even do that, like if I had like 10 properties and even one of those was something like that, you know, like that would be amazing.
That would be a huge driving factor.
And I think that getting into real estate to be able to like start building wealth, and then using that to
give back.
Using that, like I can I could expand this podcast and get it, you know, like we could rent a space and have like a studio and make it legit, and you know, be able to like grow awareness for addiction and mental
Right.
health and deep, meaningful conversations that, like what we were just talking about, like really like there's endless opportunities, right? There's so many different ways that you can go with it. And by it, I mean like directions of life that you can take, right? But if I have something that interests me, like real estate, and I can use that as the force to project or to like propel all these other things out into the universe and start making things happen, that would be amazing.
The real estate would be the foundation that would give you the financial freedom to make even a larger impact.
Right.
And then that impact would just multiply as your income increased and your abilities, thereby your abilities increase as well.
Yeah. So that's like, Tim, I've never really like worked that through in a conversation like this. So like, I can't wait to like, I never like really listened to our podcast. Like I've listened to a couple of them, but I don't go back and listen to all of them. I just kind of like put it out there. But I want to go back and listen to what I just said so I can like wite it down. So I remember, you know, because
well, it's kind of nice because like usually it's me going on the rants, and right now you're going on a rant. I'm loving it. You know, it's great, man. It's great to see that. You know.
Yeah, man. It's...
And I think you mentioned it before, but no one has ever like really interviewed you on your own podcast, so it's nice to like get to know you, you know?
Yeah.
Like people want to know the host of their show too.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have like a whole, maybe get like 3 different people.
Yeah.
To go to like interview me in different ways.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just get it out there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like I have all these like, I feel like I come off as somebody. On occasion, I come off as somebody that like knows all of these things, that like all this great advice, but I don't. Like a lot of times I just regurgitate shit that I hear, and I feel like I sound intelligent and like well put together, but like
these are not things that you have actually figured out yourself. They're things that other people have figured out that you've remembered.
Like
it's just like Joe Rogan says. He's like, I'm a fucking idiot. He's like, I just remember things that people tell me. He's like, I haven't figured any of this shit out. I'm not the smart guy that solves the problem. I'm just the one who remembers how they solved it. You know?
Yeah. So like that's, you know, I'm just like I'm learning as I go.
Right.
And so I talk about the stuff that I've recently heard.
Yes.
And I think that like other people can benefit from.
Absolutely.
Even if I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, that's fine.
Well, because then it could spark an idea for them to go study and look more into it for themselves.
Right.
You know?
So yeah.
That's the intent here is awareness, really.
Right.
You know, we don't know everything, but we can make you aware of the things that we do know and that we do learn, and you can go do some research on your own.
Yeah.
And then if you got some interesting shit to share, come on the show and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. Like if anybody wants to come on, hit me up.
That's what I'm thinking, man. Like,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And I could drive. I have like this is like I'm at Kody's right now.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
Like,
you're mobile for sure.
Yeah.
This is an easy setup. It just the computer and mics.
Yeah.
It's a 5-minute setup.
A little like what do they call that? Satchel.
Yeah.
Satchel with a duffel bag.
Equipment in it. Yeah.
And I'm on the road, so if anybody wants to hop on here, hit me up.
Yeah. Dude, so if you had one message, I know I said I had to cut it kind of short today.
Yeah.
But if you had one message, you know, what would that message be for people for today's podcast, based on the stuff we've discussed?
I think my message would be to start asking yourself hard questions about why you do the things that you do. And if you figure out an answer, go deeper than that. And then continue to go deeper. And
just keep asking why.
Just keep asking why. And until you get to a feeling of like release, you know, where you can like, okay, like I know now, you know.
Or I can get closer to what I think.
Right.
Yeah. What I actually think.
Yeah. Rather than like what we are programmed to think.
Yes. Or conditioned or raised, whatever way you have it.
Yeah.
That's a good message, folks. Keep asking why. Never stop asking why. Question your intentions. Always.
Yeah, always.
And to that, my friend.
Let me just swap that over.
Boom. Cheers. By the way, you want to drop the shirt news real quick? Before we sign off?
Yeah. So I printed 50 t-shirts. If anybody wants one, hit me up. I'm gonna give some of them away. So if anybody wants one and you listen to this, you can DM me on Instagram _ the comeback journey, or email me thecomebackjourney@gmail.com. If you want a shirt, hit me up. I'm gonna give some of them away, and then we'll see how many I have left over, how many people hit me up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
All right, cheers.
All right, guys, signing out.
Adios.